Welcome back, everybody, to the Breakdown Podcast YouTube channel. My name's Corey, and in this video, Vic and I are going to be talking The Masked Singer. What is this, like season 5?
6. We are on
6.
season 6.
I couldn't remember what season we are because, well, they don't even do these. They do these like 2 a year now, I think, or something like that. Usually it's like 1. You'd think it'd be easier.
Yeah, it's weird.
But anyhow, they kind of screwed up the scheduling for us. Well, okay, I kind of assumed that they were going to do it in one way. So What we're going to do is we're on to Group B on the shows. We're going to talk about Group B, but we're also going to go back and talk all of Group A at one time, and then we'll go into Group B. But first, we do want to let you know we do our show. We do have a show we do live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. ish on Eastern on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/MillerKing_51. The link is in the description down below. Come by, join us for the conversation, have a chat. We're currently doing Marvel's What If along with DC's Titans. And pretty soon we're going to be also talking Doom Patrol as well, too. So come by and check us out and join the chat and have some fun with us. Well, Vic, the time has come for us to break it down.
All right. So on September 22nd and 23rd, week 1 of the new season 6 of The Masked Singer started. And we got introduced to our Group A singers as our Group A singers, as well as the Group A wild cards.
Yes.
Starting us out in Group A is the Skunk.
Mm-hmm.
I have some notes here on the Skunk, as well as some of the clues. I'm going to tell you right now, definitely a sister. Just saying.
Yes.
I
agree.
Clue, tickets from Seoul, South Korea to USA. So that's a thing. She said she's very quick to fight. Doesn't have to react when provoked. I don't know why that's a thing, but whatever. There was a vase with a D on it, which divas, right? Divas. Said she took a break from singing, or took a break from her career to focus on family, and she's ready to get back out there and let it do without. And she made a statement. What it do? Do what it do, boo. And I was like, what? It's like such a weird statement. It just didn't make any sense. But I guess it goes to the person at hand. I'm sure that it's probably a catchphrase, and we probably missed it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying. But my guess for Skunk is Faith Evans. Faith Evans she's got an attitude, dude. Back in the days when she was with Biggie, and then that whole time frame, like she was just aggro. She was getting in arguments, fights.
What I hear,
like all this stuff. So like that kind of fits to me. And she did take a break for a while to have her baby, and that kind of fits. And she is a diva. I mean, just she is. So all of that fits to me.
But to be fair, she didn't really have a lot of many years in the, I don't know, in the recording universe, what have you. Does she really get put to the diva? Because I always see diva as like top tier. Does she really get up there?
Diva does not mean that she. So you have diva, you have a diva, and then you have divas. So a diva is someone who acts the way that they do, regardless of whether or not they deserve it or not. But then you have a diva who is like Beyonce would be categorized as a diva. Aretha Franklin would be categorized as a diva. So there is a positive and a negative to it. So I know for a fact that like back in the day, people did refer to her as, she had a diva attitude. Like she felt like she was above everybody else in what she was doing. And she's a phenomenal singer. So, I mean, she does have the chops. So that's who I think this is.
My pick is also a diva.
Okay.
And a lot of my my guess on this is based on her voice more than any of the clues. because I don't really know much about her backstory and whatnot. But I obviously I know who she is.
Okay.
But my guess is Mary J. Blige.
Okay. Again, another one of those, another singer from pretty much that same. She would have been in the same kind of time span as Faith Evans. But
her career was longer.
She ran in the same circles as Faith Evans, and she's very much a diva. So that's actually a really good guess.
And she's also going to be singing at the halftime of the Super Bowl in February. Yes. So,
well, I mean, yeah, it is a thing. I mean,
it is a thing.
I think that's a very good guess as well. I will definitely give you that. I am not locking this in, by the way.
No. None of my picks are locked in except for Octopus.
Feel like it's very possible that it may be somebody else, but I'm not sure as well. Because I feel like if we went to a more on the rap side of things, I feel like this could be Queen Latifah as well.
Yeah, but I think you would have been able to tell by the voice.
The thing is, I didn't look it up. I probably should have, because it would have made more sense, because I look everything up, but I don't know if she has kids.
Who, Queen Latifah?
Yeah, I don't remember whether or not she has kids, so that would be the kicker for me. But she did say take a break to focus on family, not necessarily to focus on raising a family or starting a family. She just said focus on family. So that could be the where that, even if she doesn't have
and
kids,
Mary J was gone for a while.
Yeah, and if she doesn't have kids, that could be where that falls in. So that is that. So we got Faith Evans and Mary J. Blige for that guess. Next we move on to Octopus. Very tall, obviously a basketball player or an athlete. I am horrible at guessing athletes. I've not guessed one right away except for Gronkowski. And that's just because you couldn't not know that was Gronkowski.
Right.
But with that being said, I had no effing idea who this was. My notes are basketball player based on his stature.
Yeah. That was the first thing I
noticed. I have no idea who it could have been.
Obviously, that was the biggest clue when he first came out, because when he's standing next to Nick, and I'm aware Nick is pretty tall, because they talk about it every episode. But then he comes out there and is standing next to him, and it's a whole head taller than Nick. It's like, okay, this has got to be an NBA player. I sat there and tried to think, all right, who could it be? But I couldn't decipher it from any retired players. But then once the judges started giving their guesses, and Ken said Dwight Howard and gave some very some of the things that he pointed out made sense. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go with Dwight Howard, because I had already written that it was an NBA player. I just didn't know who. And if you're, you might as well put somebody down. So I was going to go with him, not thinking that he'd be voted off first.
Right.
So
the first episode of this show is always hard to predict, because like you don't know whether or not anyone's going to actually make it. So you're like, yeah, well, I'm going to guess this person, but then it's like, you have to be dead on, like right off the top. Like when we got Busta Rhymes, like, you just had to be like, it's this person. I know it's this person. And then like lock it in, because they're also not good. And I knew this dude was going to get voted out, and I had no chance of even getting any points on this one. So,
yeah. So that puts me up 1-0.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Next up, we have Pufferfish. Now, I want to tell you what my notes are on here.
Okay. I
have question marks. And then because of that's the only note that I have. Actually, I do have calling BS, and also she did not rap. And the reason I wrote both of those down is because of the voice. Okay. Because when she's singing, you hear one voice. You can hear that voice. But then when she allegedly goes into the rap, it's a totally different sounding voice. I was like, there's no way that's her as well too. So to me, they're using some kind of voice changer, which when she takes a mask off, I'm not saying that they did this, but I think it's a possibility that they could have, because she was wearing a mask over her face as well, because of her health issues. So I can't help but think that mask inside was was preventing some of her actual vocals to come out correctly. And so maybe they were changing it in the audio, behind the scenes. I don't know. I didn't like it. I called BS on it, but my guess was Iggy Azalea because they mentioned Australia, and I think she was talking with an accent, which was obviously now very fake.
Yeah, and when it came, so this is going to be weird, and it's we know it's completely wrong, but Pufferfish, she beamed up to a spaceship, right? Was part of the clue, and then said she was a weird kid in science class that effed up everyone's projects. They showed a boomerang, which obviously was kind of a nod to Australia.
Australia. But I just now figured out why that boomerang's there.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and say it?
The soundtrack to the movie with Eddie Murphy, Boomerang, which she's on the soundtrack of.
Yes, sir. Her voice was different. I actually have that note there as well. The voice is very different. There's a weird space between the T and the A. Lean towards UA for herself. I'm not sure what that was. Like it was just something that was there that I noticed. Like obviously some of these clues are red herrings. So I read too much into that, obviously. But my guess was Gigi Edley, which she is from. Did you ever see a show called Farscape? On Sci-Fi?
No, but I know who you're talking about now.
So I thought it was her because one, she is a singer-songwriter. She played an alien, and she rode around in a spaceship. So I went meta with it, and I was like, maybe it's her. And I was wrong.
Yes, we were both wrong. Yes, we were both wrong. It turned out to be Toni Braxton.
Yes, which, again, the boomerang thing is like a no-brainer right there.
Yeah, it is.
The other stuff was just most of the other stuff that was involved with it because I looked it up once they said who it was, and all of it fits. Just like her biography, she talks about the fact that she was like a weirdo kind of science kid and nobody really liked her. She'd get along with a lot of people and yada yada. So it all fit, but it's not anybody that I ever would have known. There's no way
I'm not buying that.
There's no way that would have worked.
What? I'm not buying that nobody want to be friends with her.
When you're a kid and you're the geeky nerdy kid
in high school,
in grade school, I think it was.
Well, maybe grade school, but kids were kids. But once high school hit, this is Toni Braxton. Come on,
dude. There are lots of people who you see now as stars. You would not believe who they were as kids. There is a difference. Next is Mother Nature.
Yes.
My notes on Mother Nature was she had some swag to her step. She says that she's not a mother. She had a connection to Wayne Brady in some way, shape, or form. She doesn't play, and she can move. That's all I got for her thing.
They've been showing when they come out when they started off. They've been showing everybody in like black sweatsuits with a helmet on, so you actually kind of get a silhouette of what their body shape actually is. I don't think those are
actually them. I call BS on that. I don't think that's actually them.
Maybe, but I'll say this: when the one for Mother Nature came out, and just listening to her and listening to the way she's talking, my first thought was Monique.
Okay,
but then
wrong body type.
Well, okay. But then after she sang and she started talking, she said one thing that caught my ear, and I was reminded of last season, and I thought of Niecy Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Because she said something that Niecy said at least a couple times.
Yep. And I'm waiting for Niecy to be under one of those masks too. Mm-hmm. So like when you first said something about that after we talked about the show, I was like, damn, that was a really good guess. Like, I was like, that's not a bad guess, but again, wrong body type. If based off of what we saw on the silhouette thing, which is why I was like that, I don't think they all match. but then her movement, like the way Niecy walked and the way that she walked when she came on stage, like you can hide some things, but your natural gait goes in there, and that did not look like Niecy walking on the stage as much as we saw her last season. But my guess for this was Aisha Tyler, because she does Whose Line Is It Anyway with Wayne Brady. And when they showed the Wayne Brady thing, I was like, oh, and she's funny, and she was quipping and everything with him. And I was like, I think that could be who it is. It's a pretty good guess. And I think somebody else made that guess too.
Somebody did
during it. So I was like, I think that could be her. But of course,
it was not.
We were wrong.
We were both wrong.
It was Vivica A. Fox.
Surprised the hell out of me.
And me too. Because I was like, I forgot she existed. I was like, where has she been hiding at? Because I have not heard that name in a long time. A long time. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's a thing that happened. I'm definitely not getting points for that one. She was not on my radar.
Apparently there was a Kill Bill reference somewhere in the package. I didn't notice it.
Was there?
Yeah, it said it after they unmasked, they'll show little things at the bottom of the screen, and there was something that was in there which I don't remember what it was.
Those are always too small for me to read. I never get to see those because
you need a bigger TV.
They make them so, but I can't focus on it. Like it comes up so quickly, like my eyes don't focus on it before it goes away. Like I can see it, but I can't focus on it before it goes away. But yeah, it's yeah.
So up next, we had the Bull.
Yes, the Bull.
I've got nothing on this one.
So, came from a small town, has traveled the world, surrounded by COs. Cooperstown, which is the Hall of Fame, isn't it?
Baseball Hall of
Fame. Became his own boss, entrepreneur. Hollywood's and Forbes took notice of him. He has a connection with Astronaut from last season for some reason. I can't quite.
Who was Astronaut?
Astronaut was Fudge.
Don't worry about it.
I don't even remember.
Moving on.
And then there was a lion on a rock, like Lion King, maybe. That's what I got from that. So this person can sing, they can dance, they can move. It's definitely a guy. I'm going with Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. Okay, how does Cooperstown fit into it?
I don't know, but we also didn't know why Jim Carrey had anything to do with a soccer team. So
fair enough. After that, we had Hamster.
Yes,
and once again, I have nothing. But I'm gonna blow your mind with the next one.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Do you have anything for Hamster?
Before we go off of that, I also had another guess for Bull, which is my second guess because I'm not locking in. I'm not locking in Donald Glover. There was a Disney reference in there, obviously, because that could have been the Lion King thing, so that could have been a Disney reference. And if that is a Disney reference, another person that can be, and I've brought him up for the past 3 seasons, is Todrick Hall. And I'm going to end up getting him right at some point just by sheer number of times that I mentioned him. But Todrick Hall is a very, very good guest for this because, again, he is a singer. He is a songwriter. He's a very good performer. He's an excellent dancer. And honestly, this is the kind of things that he would do. Like, it's really kind of in his wheelhouse to do this. So Todrick Hall is my second guess for that because my son also thinks I'm stupid for thinking it's Donald Glover. So we'll see.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I was just going to let it go.
Yeah, we'll see where that plays out. So he's either right or I'm right, but that's my second guess. So as the season progresses, once we get to see Bull perform again and maybe get a few more clues, then I'll see which way that pendulum swings. But yeah, so you have no guess for that, huh?
No, none for Hamster or Bull, no.
Okay. Hamster, no idea. I cannot fathom who that could possibly be. Nothing in the clue package popped for me. I just couldn't guess. I couldn't make a guess on it.
If you've never... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good.
If you've never seen our Masked Singer videos, sometimes we do have no guesses. It takes us a little time, to see them perform a little bit before we start conjuring up some ideas.
Yeah.
So
especially with the clues, like the clues for me are the big thing. Like them singing, it never does anything for me. There's hardly ever that I hear their voice and go, I know who that is, except for Busta Rhymes. But definitely not so far this season have I been like, oh, I know that voice.
right.
Actually, that's a lie. But we haven't gotten there yet.
Yes. Group B, I knew as soon as they started.
Right.
So the final one in Group A was Baby.
Oh, that thing is creepy as AF, dude.
Yes. First of all, it is creepy. Second of all, this may be my biggest long shot guess.
Okay.
I think that I've had on here. Now, you made mention to me, and I didn't hear this at the time because I forget what I was looking. I was looking up something else that another clue that I'd heard, and it was that he filled in, or he replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes. Okay. So you had a prediction for that one, and I'll let you say that one in a minute. But I went a different direction.
Okay.
And I Googled it.
Google food, dude. That's how I get some of my answers. It's nothing wrong with it.
Now, I think he replaced Arnold in a movie that has not come out yet. That is, Arnold was supposed to be in it because he was in the original. That movie being True Lies. Steve Howie has replaced him in this movie. That's who my pick is, because he also let me finish.
They're redoing True Lies?
Yes.
Okay.
Steve Howie also was on the TV show back in the 90s called Reba, starring Reba McEntire, and he has a song featured on that soundtrack. Steve Howie is the baby.
Who is Steve Howie? I don't even know who that is. Was he the husband?
Hell if I know. No, seriously, he's been in some other things. Like I said, he's going to be in the remake for True Lies. He was also in the Reba show, but he did some other stuff too. A lot of bear with me. I think he was in Sons of Anarchy as well.
Okay.
And hold on, if you give me just
you do that. I'm going to give you my thing on this. So, Baby makes mention of the place, and it says that he replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie. So not that he like rebooted it and they remade the movie, but Arnold's too old, but he replaced Art. You hear that?
Yeah.
That's the dog squeaking his toy for no good reason.
Don't forget to cut that out.
Stop it, Dwayne. So he said that he replaced him, not that he was recast as. He replaced him in the movie. And then after that, they show him with a badge. They show that they zoom in on the police badge that the security guard was wearing in the clip. And I say it every season, watch those security guys. They give you clues that are real clues to the story. And every time they end up being the clue that breaks it open. And for me, that's where I was like, what movie was Arnold Schwarzenegger replaced in? So I did a little bit of Google foo and put in Arnold Schwarzenegger lost roles. And a bunch of stuff comes up. And originally, Die Hard was meant to be a sequel to Commando. I don't know if you knew that or not, or any of you knew that, but that was supposed to be a sequel to Commando. And it was supposed to have Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. And he ended up not wanting to do it because he didn't like the direction it was going. So Bruce Willis hopped in there and took that role, and he plays a cop, and he replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I'm going with Bruce Willis as the baby. And he does sing, he does do a little jig here and there. So Bruce Willis is an excellent choice.
No, I'm saying it's not him. If you remember in the 80s, he also he put out songs, and that sounds nothing like him. Okay. He was also, Steve Howie was also on, he did 134 episodes of Shameless on Showtime.
Yeah, I never watched
that. Yeah, I never did either. I kind of wanted to watch it because Wayne H. Macy. But he was in he did an episode of Workaholics. He's done a lot of TV stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I'm still sticking with Steve Howie. Now, Moving on to Group B, we start out with the Queen of Hearts.
Dude, this was my Google Foo masterpiece.
Okay.
The clues in this, they were so easy to match to this person. It was ridiculous.
All right, let's hear
it. So Queen of Hearts, she talked about leaving home early when she was young. She lived in a cold place. There was a Wizard of Oz reference. And that's where I started my search from. Who played Dorothy Gale in Wizard of Oz? That's what I went for. Okay, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
Because I remembered this person playing her or being in that, but I didn't know if she was Dorothy Gale at first. So I was like, I think, but I'm not sure, and that's how I ended up coming across this. But because of that reference, I ended up finding this person, and a bunch of the other clues matched because not only did they do the Wizard of Oz reference with the Tin Man, but they also did a Wonderland reference with the drinking of the potion and then the clock thing where she got smaller. So all of this leads me to believe that Queen of Hearts is Jewel, because she also has a giant jewel over one of her eyes. But Jewel left home, and like one of the big stories about Jewel, when I remember when I was younger, when she first came out, the big story is like how she left home at 15 to pursue her career, which wasn't actually
homeless and lived in a car.
Which wasn't actually pursuing her career. She went to go to college. But she was homeless and living in her car while she did it. But she lived in Alaska. That's the cold place. There was a TV show about her family living in Alaska, by the way, which I did not know. But she also did a song called "Goodbye Alice in Wonderland," which was the album that she did, so that fits into that reference as well. So that's who my guess is for this, and I am so confident in it that I am locking it in.
Wow. All right. Well, I am not locking that in because I don't have a selection yet, and I don't believe it's Jewel either.
No,
I don't think it sounded like her at all. And but I have no other. I have no
realize when's the last time you heard Jewel sing? Something new.
See, that's the thing. Her voice annoys me so much that I would recognize it.
I don't think you would, like, because they're all so much older now, that what you remember their voices sound like doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're going to sound like now.
Let me put it to you this way. When Alanis Morissette's album came out, Jagged Little Pill, yeah. I hated that album. I thought she sounded terrible. And
just terrible.
It's terrible. But then I recently, heard one of the songs. I don't know where it came up at, and I still stand by that today. Today, right. She still is horrible. So no, I don't think it's changed much. Okay, yeah, her voice is almost as bad.
I'm not changing my vote. I'm going with Jewel.
That's fine. That's
everything
fine.
Matches to me, so we're gonna go with that.
Duck was next. Came out like a pimp.
Okay.
In his styling and profiling and a big top hat.
Was Smooth McDuck, according to
Smooth McDuck.
Smooth McDuck.
Yeah, I got to say something. This is something I forgot to mention at the beginning, but I really wish these judges would shut up. I swear they say some of the dumbest things and they act like they are not adults.
They have to fill airtime, dude. They gotta say stupid stuff.
You can fill airtime by saying something that actually sounds like something an adult would say. But
what has set you off for this? What did they say?
It's just the same shit every week. It's like they do here's the way an announcement should go when they announce it. And what's his name?
Ken? Robin?
Huh?
Ken?
Robin Thicke.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh. Welcome, Robin Thicke. Hey, yeah. That's all it should be. But here's Ken getting up there. It's like, sit the fuck down. Act like a damn adult. The hell?
You have
Just
some
wait
of
to move on. You
your
are not the star of the show.
your picadillies on some stuff quite crack me
No,
up.
no, yeah, and then even some of the comments that they make when they're about to make their selection and just the way they react, it's like it's so over the top. It's stupid and it annoys me. And I doubt this will be the last time I ever mention this. But Duck comes in. And, you know, you see in the package that he's BFF with Chris Pratt. That was the only thing I really picked up on. There's a lot of little clues in there, but nothing that really stood out. Then he sang.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it was a country song.
And he's a horrible singer.
But the thing is, I sat there and was thinking, I'm like, it's got to be a country singer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the judges helped me by throwing on these little heads of all these different Jenny did it. She started naming all these people. But there was one person that she left out. And it's one person that I surprisingly know the name of. Because if you know me, I don't listen to country music. And that name is Chris Singleton. So I'm going with, again, yeah. So I'm going with him.
Okay. So, like you said, the big thing to me, the big clue was he talked about the fact that his first job was selling worms. And then he learned the human jukebox on the bus. And for me, the kicker to that was it wasn't a bus. It was a trolley car. And there's only two places really that trolley cars are like prolific in anything. And that's San Francisco and in Louisiana. Those are two places that trolley cars are like a big, like, historical, like, visual and like something that references that thing. But then looking at that a second time, also the background was like old Victorian homes, like the big building behind it looked like a Victorian building. There was a jazz saxophone guy playing the saxophone in there, and the chick that put the quarter under his armpit looked like a flapper type chick. And all of that leans me more towards Louisiana than San Francisco. So with that being said, the person here is probably from down south Louisiana, somewhere in that area. And with that being said, I also happen to we saw that Chris Pratt was the best friend forever thing, which, by the way, they didn't tell us that this was a new thing. Like, they haven't mentioned it at all. Like, usually they're like, oh yeah, well, this person is best friends with or has a connection to.
Yeah.
They did it with the Vivica A. Fox thing, but then they didn't do it with anybody else, and then they popped it back up with this. And then all of a sudden it's a thing. And I'm like, we don't get the context. Like, why are you doing that? It's just a thing that you didn't explain. Like, why wouldn't you explain that? It's not necessarily that they're their best friend, but it has something to do with them, I'm assuming. But if it is their best friend, the other ones didn't work at all, because Jules was Charlize Theron, I think. And
no,
I couldn't find, who was it?
I think it was from Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank, that's it. I get those two mixed up. But I couldn't find anything that connected Jewel to Hilary Swank, which is kind of what I was like, I don't know what these references mean.
Yeah.
So, like, if she's not best friends, but going literal with the best friend thing, Chris Pratt filmed Jurassic Park in Louisiana. And we talked about the fact that he had done that, and we were talking about the fact that he was like living down there and he had friends down there, and one of his friends down there is the dude from Duck Dynasty. I can't remember his name now.
I forgot what their names are.
Willie Robertson. He's the younger guy in the Duck Dynasty, and he has, like, they tweet back and forth, like, because I follow Chris Pratt, and the two of them tweet back and forth all the time. So
you don't follow Willie?
No, I don't follow Willie. I follow Star-Lord, but I'm not following. This dog is literally going and finding anything he can that makes noise and coming right behind me and chewing on it. He has now gone and found a plastic bottle to chew on.
Why do you leave plastic bottles?
I don't. He goes and finds them. Like, I think he pulled this out of the trash can, knowing him. But
yeah, you have to cut that out too.
Yeah. We have a trash can that has an automatic lid. Like, if you wave your hand in front of it, it opens. And I think he's figured out how to, like, put his nose over it and it'll open and he can get it in the trash can. He doesn't knock it over, so I'm like, I don't have proof of this, but I think that's what he's doing. Anyway. So where were we?
So I want to make a correction. Yes, I want to make a correction. Not Chris Singleton.
Okay.
So this is how little I know about country music. Now, if anybody was watching,
not
going, who the
Chris
hell is
Singleton.
Chris Singleton? No, it's not Chris Singleton. Chris Stapleton.
Okay.
So that's who I'm going with. It's a dude that looks like that.
Okay.
That's who my pick is.
All right. So, but yeah, so the two of them are Twitter buddies. They go back and forth on a regular basis. And in that article that we were talking about that one day, he actually talks about the fact that he went to visit him and he hung out with him for the weekend. They went fishing and all kinds of stuff. So that's going to be my guess for that. Because for one, he picked a duck as his costume. And I think that this season, the costumes are as much of a clue to the people as the actual like clues. Because if I'm right about Jewel, then she literally picked Queen of Hearts because it has to do with her character and with the clues that were involved with it that actually lead towards her. So that's what I'm going with. Willie Robertson, Duck Dynasty, because that's a rich ass duck dude right there. Because that dude got money.
Yes, he does. Moving on, we had Cupcake.
Cupcake.
Yes, Cupcake comes out, does their song. As soon as they started singing, now this is what I was talking about a minute ago.
Yep.
As soon as they started singing, I knew immediately who it was.
And
fortunately for me, I don't know who you picked.
Oh.
Fortunately for me, one of the judges also had put that name out there as well. My pick is RuPaul.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
As soon as they started to sing, I was like, I recognize the voice.
I'm gonna say you're wrong.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you my reasoning why. So in the clue package, the dude was pushing numbers and he pushed 197 and then it transitions to either he was gonna push the 2 or the 3. I can't tell which one it was because the transition like ends the him before he pushes it. So 1972, 1973. My thoughts are either that's when an album came out, or that's when they joined the band, or that's when they started their group, or whatever it was. She talks about the fact that she's normally on stage with other sweeties. So that means RuPaul, she's from a group
with other drag queens.
That's going a little, yeah. I guess that is a little meta there, but yeah, I'll give you that.
Keep going.
Whiskey was another guess, and
RuPaul has a dog named Whiskey.
I really.
No.
Oh. You had me for a second there. Jenny brought up something that actually hit pretty hard. She talked about Whiskey A Go-Go, which is a kind of a place back in the 70s where people kind of got their start. So that kind of also hit there.
But who you're guessing, I know who you're guessing. Who you're guessing never played at the Whiskey A Go-Go. I guarantee it.
That's where their band started.
Are you sure about this? Did you look that up?
Positive about this.
Okay, go ahead.
About this. So,
go ahead.
Heart-shaped pancakes. They were doing the twist in front of a twisty treat cone. But while that was going on in the background, you have one of the security guards is jump roping. He's jumping. So that's like a clue as well. And I put on
House of Pain.
That's true, but that definitely not that voice. Anyway, it's an older woman. I know this voice. I know what this group sounds like. My mom used to every Sunday clean the house, would play her gospel music, and then gospel music would turn into R&B and soul. And this group was one of her favorite groups, and that's the Pointer Sisters. And that group is literally still in existence today for the most part, because it started with the 3 Pointer Sisters, and all of the sisters joined the group. Like, as some would leave, another sister would age in and grow into the group. And so they literally wrote
like Menudo.
Now it's the daughters, the granddaughters, and the great granddaughters are all in this group, and that group is still in existence right now. It's amazing.
So they really were sisters.
Yes, they're the Pointer Sisters.
I thought that was a gimmick.
Nope. But here's where the kicker is. Because of that, I went in. Ruth Pointer is, I think she's maybe the middle or the third sister in that family. And the group was already in existence prior to her joining, but she joined in 1972. So if he was hitting a 2, It fits with when she joined the group. But the biggest song when she joined at that time was Jump for My Love. Do you remember that song?
Yes.
Okay, that was their hit song, which the jump rope fits with that too. So that's it. I'm locking it in. It's
All
Ruth
right.
Pointer.
All right. Next up, we had Dalmatian, and Dalmatian was our next victim. Here's the thing too: is when they all stood up there at the end. Now we haven't gone over Banana Split yet, but when they were all standing up there, I was like, I really don't know who is going to go. But I did pick Dalmatian to be the first one to go. However, I didn't have a guess on him.
I was absolutely hoping that it would be Banana Split, that they would go first round, because I hate the duo.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, Dalmatian, dude's got some legs. So I was like, he's definitely an athlete. He's got to be an athlete of some sort. And then they showed him boxing and all this stuff. He talked about when he was younger, he couldn't afford to participate in things, so he had to go out and get a job to buy his own gear. And I was like, okay. And then right after that, they start talking about him. They show the scene of him boxing. So my guess for this, because he is about the same height as this guy, as Dalmatian, was Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah,
guess, because when you look at his stature, the size of the guy, the fact that he talks about boxing, he came from meager beginnings, and I don't know if that's a true story that he would have bought his own gear, but that's who I think it was, Floyd Mayweather.
You talk about how you think that the costumes may be a clue. The judges kind of did that with this one, and thinking, okay, the jersey that he's wearing is black and gold. Reggie Bush played for the Saints, who their colors are black and gold, and he also had those exercise balls that were red and gold, or maroon and gold, which is USC's colors. So again, incorporating the costume.
But then they also had the number 1 on there, which you could have gone with any number of players with the number 1.
But I'm sitting there thinking, they're not going to be so painfully obvious that it's a football player in there by putting them in a football outfit. So I wasn't buying that at all.
But that's why I went with boxing, because when they brought the boxing, it was like the football thing is kind of the misdirect.
Yeah.
The dog just bought me a football, by the way.
Very timely.
I thought that was the misdirect, and that's why I thought boxing was the way to go.
With all the other clues, I'm seeing a bunch of stuff, but nothing's making heads or tails. And then they revealed at the end of the episode that it was Tigga, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I there's no effing way in hell. Like, I never would have put that together. I don't know anything. There's nothing that would have led me to Tigga. And
I have no idea who he is.
I know who he is, but I've never actually heard him perform. I've never seen him actually do anything. Like,
it's funny. It's funny when they took the head off. They cut to a dude in the crowd, and he was going, and he was just looking. This is another thing that I hate too. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, they're like pointing. They're going, oh my God, and I finished his dialogue for him. I said, oh my God, who is that? Call me old, whatever. I'm 45. I don't care. I have no clue who this dude was. If he's successful or not, good on him. But you got me. I don't have a flipping clue.
Yeah, it's one of those obscure things. Is like, they pulled you out of where? Why? I'm wondering, because I don't get it. But yeah,
the last one to perform was Banana Splits, and this is where we get another duo. I'm calling BS on this one too.
Right?
Because the ice cream portion of this duo sang, while the banana portion
played the
piano and had a microphone and never sang.
Yep.
How are we supposed to guess who that is when they don't sing?
So I think that what'll end up happening is next episode he will end up singing. And she will do something, but yeah, it's the whole thing.
You know, it's something else too. It's like, look, if you were going to do that,
hold on. Tigga that's why I know that name. This makes a whole lot of sense right now. My daughters watch the Kardashians.
Yeah.
And he was in a relationship with Kylie Jenner. And that's probably where I've heard him before, or heard of him before, was because of that whole thing. So, yeah. Anyway, keep moving.
Anyway,
that doesn't help his.
No, it doesn't help his credibility. But you know, you had the banana playing the piano this entire time. That could have been an audio track. You didn't need him out there. I'm assuming it's a dude because of the voice
the stature and the way he steps and the way he stands and the way he walks is definitely a dude.
I'm just like, okay, they've already set it up. It's musician and their producer. So you kind of have some different things. It's obviously it's not Timbaland and Missy Elliott. We can get rid of that idea.
Well, they talk about collaborations and all this other stuff, but I don't think that's actually going to be. I don't think that's the road that it's going to end up going down. I think the road they're going to end up going down is that it's either going to be a husband and wife team or a singer and songwriter team. I don't think it's going to be a producer. I don't think producers do enough to. Usually, producers don't sing very much. So to have him on a show about singing at some point,
that's a Timbaland.
Have to sing. Like it's gonna be a thing, but I think it's gonna be like a husband and wife thing. I still have no idea who it could possibly be because one, I hate that they do this. Because one, you have to split your thought process. Then you have to try to think of a group, like two people that it could possibly be, a male and a female, and there are God knows how many groups like that out there. So like you just keep pondering and pondering and pondering. I don't think I've ever managed to guess correctly a duo.
Hanson.
Oh, that's right, I did.
Saved you there.
Yeah, you did.
So I don't have anything written down for Banana Split.
Yeah.
However, I'm making my prediction right now.
Okay.
All right. This is probably the biggest long shot. Bigger than Baby. Lady Gaga. And Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett?
Yes.
Why Tony Bennett?
They have an album that either recently came out or is going to be coming out, a duets album. This would only go to help promote that album.
Tony Bennett. I don't think that would be.
We haven't heard him sing yet.
So I think if you're talking about Lady Gaga, what was the guy?
It's Lady Gaga.
Okay, Lady Gaga. What's the guy she did the movie with, and she did the song that won all the awards?
Dude from Hangover.
I think they could definitely be him. The height, stature wise, could definitely be him.
It could
be. The fact that he didn't really sing.
We didn't hear him sing, so who knows? The fact
that we didn't hear him sing that much.
My guess is just as good.
And we also don't know whether he actually played that piano.
That's true.
So
can you imagine he's just out there pretending to play?
Yeah, he's just like there's no
pressure
strings
on me at all.
There's no strings in that piano, and he's just tapping keys.
Yeah, he's just doing this. There's no pressure. Nobody's even looking at me.
He's just going.
I can just sit there. I can bang my elbow on the keys.
They made sure not to get any over-shoulder shots of him while he was on the keys. So like we don't know, but I think that if you're gonna go with the Lady Gaga thing, then it's got to be that guy. The two of them. That would be my guess. I'll actually roll with you on that if that's your guess, but that would be my guess. Lady Gaga and that guy, whoever he is, I can't remember his name. So yeah.
Why do I I don't understand why I forget his name anyway. I had to write mine down before I forgot. All right, that is going to be it. We do want to thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week with our all new episode. So on behalf of Vic,
that's me.
I'm Corey. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.
See ya.